Hi, I'm Chief Gary Sparks with the Douglasville Police Department. Today we want to give you some safety tips concerning traffic stops. Take a look.
So you look in your rear view mirror and see flashing blue lights. What do? Remain calm. Yield to the right and pull your vehicle over into an off-road area that is safe for both you and the officer. Put your car in park. Remove your foot from the brake and turn the radio off. Remain in your vehicle. Have your driver's license readily available for the officer. Keep your hands on the steering wheel, visible for the officer at all times. If you need to retrieve any items from the interior, explain what you're reaching for to the officer and avoid any sudden movements. Rolling the window down completely establishes a level of trust with the officer and allows for ease of interaction during the routine traffic stop. Be courteous and polite. Be cooperative and willing to follow the officer's instructions. During a routine traffic stop, the officer will return to his vehicle to run the tag and driver's license verification and complete a citation if one is necessary. Once the officer returns and approaches your vehicle, whether or not a citation or warning is issued, please remain calm, courteous, and cooperative. Sign the citation acknowledging you agree to appear in court, and do not dispute the citation with the officer. The officer will give you a court date to explain or defend your infraction.
Okay, ma'am. Like I told you, I did clock you at 51 in a 35 mile per hour speed zone. I did issue a citation, okay? This here is going to be your court date. I just need a signature from you stating that you received a copy of this citation, okay?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
All right. Here's your driver license.
Thank you.
Along with a copy of the citation, okay? You have any questions or concerns for me?
No, sir.
Okay, well, you have a nice day, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Following these few simple steps will help ensure a safe interaction for both you and the officer.
I hope these few tips help you as it relates to dealing with law enforcement and traffic stops. Not only in traffic stops, but in all encounters with law enforcement. We hope that all our encounters are safe for the citizens as well as for our officers. Again, we want you to be safe, and if you have any problems with the Douglasville Police Department, don't hesitate to give us a call and make your concerns known. I would add that Georgia is a right to carry state, and we hope that if you are carrying, that on these traffic stops and all encounters, please let the officer know that you are carrying. This will ensure your safety and our officers' safety. Thank you, may God bless you, and may God keep our community safe. We are one.
Ms. Fur, and welcome to The Flavor. And our top 10 countdown starts with...
I was dead broke, I ain't had shit, but I made it all happen like magic. They counted me out, but I still made it out, and I took home the crown like a pageant.
Here comes your dream, number 2 on title, number 1 on iHeart, got the whole world.
Hello, this is Papa Snoop, and this is the tip of the week.
Good evening and welcome to Coach's Corner. With co-hosts tonight, we got John Sloan, Yolanda West, and Roy Washington filling in for Steve Slaughter. We broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube TV 1061, Douglasville, Georgia. Our sponsors for tonight's program is State Farm, Sherry Denard, at 422 155 South, McDonough, Georgia. Also, we have Jaguars International of McDonough. We're going to do a local announcement for this upcoming, for the local announcement. We're having a basketball tryouts at 1640 Georgia 42 Highway. This is a traveling professional team that travels around the international globe. For anyone out there that wants to come out, again, that's Saturday, November 6th from 10 a.m. to 3 p.m. You got to be 21 and COVID tested. Our calling line tonight is 770-485-7724. Tonight's topic, why juveniles crime has increased. We want to thank our producer, Philip Washington, for broadcasting this program on TV 1061. All right, let's begin the show. According from the State of America Children Manual, there are about 1,900 children that are arrested each day in the United States. Children continue to be criminalized and alarm rates at disparity of time. Most of them come from poverty kids, children of color, children with disability, children with mental health, substance abuse, negligent violence, foster care homes, and LGBTQ. They are pushed out of schools and homes into justice systems. Research shows that young people's brains are tend to develop and materialize. We're going to open the floor if anyone discuss what's going on with the children today. Go ahead, the floor is open.
Good evening. Thank you to Coach's Corner. My name is John Sloan. I want to give a special shout out to my producer, Felix. Felix, you owe me $1 for that. And today's topic is juveniles. What is the meaning of juveniles? It simply is one who is not physically or emotionally mature in their life at this time. We will be discussing why do female juveniles commit more crime today as opposed to 20 years ago? That's the question that I'm putting out to the audience. If you want to call in, please call in because I want to know this answer. All right, but for me, I think one of the reasons why they commit more crime today is social media. Social media is something real bad, man. You know, social media is one incident, as well as I think the society is another incident because they allow children to do whatever they want to do within reason. But social media, kids today go on social media. There's no one tells them don't go on there. And we're talking about juveniles from 14 to 18 years old.
So let me stop you here. What should the parents do about the social media? The kids are controlled by the parents. So what should the homes do for kids on social media?
Well,
and how does it influence the kids' behavior?
I think I know for a fact that parents have to monitor what the kids watch. They got to monitor. They got to stop being a friend and be a parent, and find out what the kids is doing. Who are they with? Who are they around? You know, once a parent start parenting, I think that would bring down the crime rate a little bit among juveniles. But I want to talk about female juveniles. You know, when I was doing my research, I contacted the FBI, a friend in the FBI, and I asked him, is it really true what's going on? And he said, yeah. So when I give you these statistics, you would be like really be taken back a little bit, you know. But before I do that, I want to say social media, broken families, poverty, peer pressure, and many more reasons why the crime rate have gone up with juveniles. You know, but this is according to the FBI. Female arrests have increased. Remember, this is between 14 and 18 years old. It has increased. This is reported by the FBI. Now watch these statistics. 26% of all overall arrests are among females between 14 and 18. 21% of assaults, 6% of murders, 9% of robberies, 9% of weapon charges, 11% of arsons, 28% of burglaries, 16% of car thefts, and 26% of disorderly conduct is what's going on with females now between the ages of 14 and 18. You know, teenage girls experience more interpersonal stress. So what interpersonal stress is like quarrels, arguments, negative behaviors, lack of father or father figure. I heard somebody say that tonight about lack of father figure. abandonment, adult abandonments, looking for their identities, because the parents do throw these kids out the house for whatever reason why. And they go into group homes, and you gotta be tough in group homes. Especially for females, you gotta be really tough. For juveniles, because people pull your hair, they try to cut you. Especially with the cute little girls and the young girls, people will try to cut them, to make them scarred or something like that. So they show this behavior once they come out, because you gotta be hard and you gotta be tough. So the problem in our society is causing this, and I think what we need to do, back in the day, we had PAL, I had PAL, Police Athletic League. I had after school programs. It was 2 after school programs, one from 3 to 5, then one from 6 to 8. So it kept us busy. It kept us busy playing pool, playing basketball. The girls would be singing, they'd be dancing, they'd be knitting clothes and stuff like that. We gotta, as a society, we gotta spend money for our youth, man.
I got a question on that.
Sure.
I was an educator, taught school. They have after-school programs for kids at all ages in these schools. Some of the kids don't take advantage of them programs. Some of the parents don't put them in some of the programs. So therefore, there are programs set up for these kids to go to, but why they're not going? That's the question. Why they're not going? Why the parents not putting them in that program? You mentioned single families. There's a lot of people out there with single families grew up, especially females. Female mother can only teach their child which way to go, but you remember, babies are raising babies.
Absolutely.
In the 80s and 90s, women ain't like our grandmothers coming up with spank you, your neighbor spank you, your next door neighbor spank you, then you go home and get another spanking. They're not like that anymore.
They better not spank you this time,
you got
right?
13-year-olds, 12 years old having kids.
Right.
So how can another child raise a child?
And you know what? It's funny. And you can't raise a child, And the bottom line is this. This is what I'm saying. Because of social media, you go online and you see the girls with the young girls watch the girls with the breasts coming out and getting the lips done and do twerking and all that. And these little girls see that on social media. And I said before, young people emulate what they see older people do. So they think this is what it is. And it's really not, and you have 13-year-old, 14-year-old girls getting pregnant now, babies having babies. What are they gonna do? The grandmother is like 26, she's a grandmother and she don't wanna take care of the kids. So her and her daughter get into a spat, and now she throws her out the house. And now she's vulnerable to whatever dude is out there. And they say also that a lot of people will get thrown out the house, they get pregnant, the boyfriend throws them out, the stresses, they develop different, they don't go to school no more. They're uneducated, they're looking, not everybody now, but when you're 13, from 14 to 18, you think you know everything. You think life is what it is, and you know nothing, And I understand it, I was at that age before. So if I know now, what I knew before, it would have been all right. But, again, I put it on social media a lot because they see things that's not really true, and they think this is how it's
I'm going to intervene in that.
I know you're going to intervene, but go ahead.
Yeah, you can't put it all on social media. You have to put it on.
You're right.
You can't put it all on social media. There's no morals anymore when it comes to what is viewed on the television, what is played. They took, and you have to put it on the government and the law enforcement because they took the parenting out of the parenting hands.
True.
And a child quick to say, if you hit me, I'm gonna call 911. You can't put it all on social media at the same time. When you get a certain age, I don't care how much upbringing you bring them kids, they gonna go their own way, because one of the things that is a lot people don't want to acknowledge, peer pressure. It's peer pressure out there. It's a lot to be like the popular girls, to be like the athlete, to be the beautiful girl. If you have to sell your soul to be with the football team to make you popular there, do it. It's called, you have to install in your kids that you must have some kind of religious background in you.
I agree with you.
Or you can be non-religion and still be a strong, install them to be a strong, to have integrity into them. Teach your kids to be leaders, not followers. Have integrity. Integrity means when you're going to do the right thing when no one is looking. A lot of parents does not install that in their kids because they don't have that installed. They didn't have that instilled in them.
That's true.
So you have to, I'm correcting myself because I said installed, but instilled in them. You have to sit down with these kids and learn and watch your child, because a lot of parents, guess what's going on, even with two-party parents as well as single parents, everybody's multitasking. Everybody's doing everything else except for paying attention to the child. They want to hand them over to the electronics, and they're letting the games, they're letting TV, they're letting other people raise their kids. Kids are actually raising the kids. You can't blame it on by teenage pregnancy. Teenage pregnancy been going on for years.
Let me have a simple question. You think self-esteem have a lot to do with it?
It does.
With the child?
It does. That's why you have, well, let's say for instance, like with me, I have 2 girls. I have 2 beautiful girls. They didn't go down that path because guess what? I spoiled them. Like some girls never been loved or shown affection, or your male son has been loved and shown affection. I tell my son all the time, it's all right to cry, but cry in privacy. It's all right. It's all right because you have to deal with your emotions, because if you don't deal with your emotions, guess what? Balled up, and when they let out, they come violent. With my girls, I tell them all the time, I tell my son, you're handsome. I just teach them, yes, sir. No, sir. With my girls, you're beautiful. I taught them. I used to take them to get their nails did, their hair did. I said, I'm going to tell you, when you grow up, the first thing a man going to try to tell you, well, I get your hair did. And you tell him, now, when I get my education, I'll come back and talk to you then.
Okay.
You have to install them to be leaders and build their self-esteem as little kids. Build them up. Don't holler at them. Don't yell at them. Don't cuss at them. I mean, you know, some do cuss, you know, may cuss in a statement, but you have to teach your kids these things. You can't let the TV or the game raise them and then want to be like, the biggest thing with a lot of parents these days, they want to be social media parents. Oh, they take pictures with them, but at home they don't do nothing with them.
But you know what? I want to say this to you. You have to start when they're early.
Yeah,
you know,
when
you
they're
gotta
early.
get them when, you know, you have to get them when they're early, and you raise them the right way.
Yeah.
Because, you know, a lot of mothers want to be their friends. I know I'm your mother, you know, and we don't do all this other stuff together. I'm your mother. You come to me about anything. So, and the fathers too, but you got to get them raised from the very beginning. You can't start raising them at the age of 15.
No,
because
because
streets them raised them already.
Yeah.
But you said, go ahead.
I agree. Let me interject a minute.
Go ahead.
And it's something that I always think about, and me and a lot of my friends, we always have a lot of conversation about this. I think we at the table here was raised in a generation somewhat similar. As Coach said earlier, you do something down the street, they beat you down the street. Your grandmama gonna beat you. You get home, you're gonna get another beat.
Right, I remember those.
And in addition to that, Miss Cora Lee said you did such and such. It's not my mother going down there to argue with her.
Miss Cora Lee said
Okay,
it.
so in our generation, we said yes, sir, yes, ma'am. If we use profanity, we wouldn't use it in front of another adult, so on and so forth. Well, but our kids, that's when we started that, I don't want nobody to touch my child. Now you're challenging the teacher. Now you in that generation where now they're having kids. Well, now the games are raising them. And a lot of those games got a lot of negative stuff going on.
All negative.
And then in addition to that, you smoking the weed in front of them. They see everything, not only on social media, they see everything in their house.
Right.
So
Agree with you.
therefore now, where's the integrity? There is no integrity being taught. Where's the character? There is no character being taught. They raising themselves.
True.
So now they're being told by the streets are raising them. So they're being told things like, oh, you don't have to worry about that. It's just a misdemeanor. So now they're doing things and getting in trouble, and it's no recourse behind it.
You know, it's funny because remember now, I never had a timeout before. You know, when I did something, boy, it wasn't no timeout. You know?
We gotta go on break. We gotta go on break to pay these bills, but our call line is open at 770-485-7724. Call in. Let me hear your opinion about juveniles. We'll be back shortly.
Oh.
Hi, my name is Dynasty, and welcome to TV 1061. Join our network and broadcast your event live across the continent. Come to our studio and film and stream your talk show, sitcom, showcase, and broadcast it worldwide. Combine multimedia with your live stream. Independent filmmakers, show your movie and afterwards interview your cast live. Sponsors, advertisers, I'm talking to you. This is your chance for global exposure. These are very exciting times we live in. Traditional TV is all but a thing of the past. TV 1061 is now on the Roku platform with a viewership of 46 million and counting. Roku is an industry leader on internet TV. It is the most popular and fastest growing internet TV platform. If you are interested in developing and streaming your own show or movie, or coming in as a sponsor or an advertiser, please send your contact information with a short description of your interest to 1061tv@gmail.com. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Michael Collier, funniest man on the planet, and you're watching TV 1061, your global network. Stay tuned, because that's how they do it over here. Big time party. All right, see y'all later. Bye. Hi.
We're back with Coach Corner talking about why juveniles crimes are increasing in our communities. We're going to finish talking off. I'm going to bring some, I know he's talking about women, female gang, 14 and 18, but there's 13-year-olds. We're just reading a story today about a 13-year-old killed his mom in Warren Robins here, right in Warren, Georgia, last month. 13 years old. That was a young man. But who's teaching these people how to shoot guns? Who's teaching them how to kill? They're not coming out their mama's stomach that they are murderers. There's some kind of pattern that they're teaching these kids how to use a knife, how to use a gun, how to do murder at that early age. They're not cowboys, you know. So tell me, where is they getting this training from? They're not military at 13 years old.
I want to say this one thing. I'm stuck on social media because they can see what's going on. Hold on, let me say this to you. They can see what's going on social media. It shows them how to shoot a gun, how to stab somebody. They can get information from it. So I'm not saying, as she stated, I'm not putting all the responsibility on them, because the parents have to have some responsibility to find out what their children are doing. However, social media plays a big part in what we do. What you think about that, Roy?
I agree. In fact, between Google, you can Google how to do anything. You know what I mean? YouTube, so on and so forth. But I think social media and cable and what have you have parental controls. Mm-hmm. But again, because we have parents that are not parenting, they don't utilize these things. They have kids bringing they bring in their flag in the house. For those of you who know what I'm talking about, we're talking about gangs. Mm-hmm. So they're bringing their flag in the house and putting it in the closet. Well, I knew what was in my kid's closet.
I did too.
In addition to that, guess what? You're not going out this house with clothes on that I didn't buy.
Mm-hmm. But let's interject something. A lot of parents know their kid. Hold on, we got a caller coming. Hold on, we got a caller coming. Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller.
This is a question for West Union.
For who? Can you speak up?
This is I feel like it has a lot to do with like video games. Like when people get on video games, they be seeing like the shooting and stuff. So that triggers that too.
It does. I'm not going to call your name, but I know who this is, but it does have a lot to do with the video games that kids look at, and then the virtual video games that they have, and then a lot of kids are stealing their parents' guns, and you can get guns basically from anywhere. Like, I want to correct something that Coach said. Actually, the young guy that killed his mom, it was August in Warner Robins, Georgia of this year, and they're trying him as an adult. And then not too long ago, over the Labor Day holiday in my neighborhood, they had a kickback for, rivalry party, young man, great, outstanding, athlete in school. He streamed his party on the internet. So when you're streaming your party on the internet, you don't know who's gonna come to your house or what county or whatever. So, I passed by, the party was going good, we couldn't hear nothing. All of a sudden, by 9, something to 10, you hear gunshots going off. And a young lady that stayed here in the McDonald, and I'm not gonna call her name, in McDonald and the Stockbridge area. who goes to school here and stays here. She was visiting her parents in Warner Robins, and she got killed. And so far from the investigation, guess who was the kids, the age of the kids that was shot, that, you know, that was, that had the guns that was shooting? Their ages, from my last, when I looked at, I think they was both 15. They was 15.
Wow, that's
Yeah, but you gotta understand, like before we got a phone call, that parents know their kids in gangs. Parents, like say, if they're in poverty and they need money, their kids out there making money, bringing money into it, they don't allow their kids to go out and stay in them gangs. Not gonna try to take them out because they bring something to the table. Especially if they're a single parent, don't have a man in the house or a female. There are kids that I know, I'm from LA and I have seen that, where kids will go out there and actually make money, bring it in, give their money to their parent, mother, take care of their siblings. And that's something's real in there today.
It's real. I want to say I had an incident today. A young lady came into where we was working at. I guess the court said, listen, I want to show you how to be a receptionist with the phone calls, paperwork and stuff. So she had her counselor bring her in. And she was in there with, she about 13 years old. She had her headphones on. And my coworker said, hey, young lady, she talked to her for about 2 minutes. She had her headphones on. So my coworker said, hey, are you listening? She said, I don't have to listen to you. And she said something else to my coworker, and my coworker, I guess she's from the hood. Sorry, sweetie. She's from the hood because she started balling up her fist. And I said, no, that's not what you have to do. But I did speak to the lady and say, the little young girl, listen, when you in this type of environment right now, we're trying to teach you something, and at least you can take off your headphones to listen to what's being said. And she rolled her eyes at me, and she left. But she called back about an hour later, wanted to come back. We didn't let her back in. But I'm just saying, she's 12 years old. She
no home training.
Being defiant, man, because you go ahead.
Go ahead, College. You're on Coach's Corner.
Hey.
Go ahead.
Hey, this is Greg.
I can't hardly hear you. Can you speak up?
I said, this is Greg.
Go ahead. What's your question?
My question is about child support.
About what? Passports?
Child support.
Child support. Go ahead. Go ahead.
I just had a few questions about why is child support and visitation a separate issue when they both coincide together as it relates to a child.
Go ahead.
Why, he said, why is child support and visitation separate when it relates to a child? What are you angling at, Greg? Because that's something that the system has decided. So what? Greg.
I'm angling at it because my angle is because a lot of women have used child support as a reason why a man can't see his son or daughter.
Okay, I can relate to that. I was talking about that earlier.
We were talking about that.
Yeah, we were just talking about that, how the court system have the child support and visitation separate, but however, the woman may decide that she don't want the father to see the child, especially if he's not paying the child support.
Well, I've had issues with paying and still couldn't see it. And the only response I got from the courts was for me to hire a private attorney and take her to court and for visitation. But the state is set up to help the woman to enforce child support when it relates to money, and we all know that it takes more than just money to raise a child, but their whole stand is with the woman to enforce child support for money and not for the whole well-being of the child.
That's true, because I went through the same scenario as coming up as child support, and a lot of females do take the money and use for other ways, preventing you from seeing a child, so you can't raise the child the way you want to raise it because the mother won't let you see it because you're not paying her the money to come in the house, but and the court is stopping you from doing that. I relate to that. and a lot of us can relate to, a lot of guys can relate that's happened to not just one, not just you, but a lot of men is going through that same issue where the woman is using child support as a hostage for the child.
Can I ask Greg a question? Greg, this is John. Let me ask you a question. I'm sorry. Are you actually, when you pay child support, are you giving it to her without a receipt, or are you going through the courts? How are you doing that?
Well, initially it was set up with the divorce. So I ended up getting joint custody of my son, and with child support attached to it. And the problem was she ended up moving. I moved after the divorce, shortly after the divorce, and she ended up moving. And I'm also an entrepreneur at the time. This been going on for 15 years, so I haven't always had I always had income, but it wasn't consistent enough to be taken out of a check like I was a W-2 employee. So I've been an entrepreneur for a long time now. So because of the job history starting out over 15 years ago, I ended up getting behind in child support. Not because I was a bad father, but just because of I was making my money.
Let me ask you a question, Greg. Once they found out that you was making money, did they increase your child support or make you pay more? And
They never increased it. It just I just stopped paying it at a certain point purposely because how bitter she was with me as far as me seeing my child. So there are several instances where I was paying and she was still being very bitter towards me to see him. I had a time where I actually drove 7 hours from Atlanta to Kentucky just to see my son, and she ended up taking him out of daycare, so I couldn't get him. So there's a lot of issues.
Well, let me ask you this. Excuse me. If you said through the divorce you had joint custody.
Yes.
So then that means you have some written document, at least in the divorce decree, stating that this joint custody. So if you drove from Atlanta to Kentucky and she didn't allow you to see the child, you could have gone to the court or got a hold of law enforcement because you had a right to see the child. Did you do that?
I did that. Matter of fact, I called the sheriff and told the sheriff what I was doing and what she was doing before I got to the daycare. And the daycare ended up calling her off her job, letting her know I was there to get him. She come down there to get him before the police get there. The police get there and they take a report and tell me there's nothing I could do. Nothing that they could do. They gave me a report and they didn't, and I told them I wanted to press charges against her, and they never follow up with that.
And
so I did that.
Mr. Greg, I really do apologize for your situation, but all females are not like that. Like, you just got caught up in a bad situation. Because it's some females that are out there would rather for you to spend time with them to pay child support. Then it's some female like you just ran into, just bitter. And they using the child as a weapon against you. But we as adults, we normally forget about the child and think about ourselves. But I wish it was more parents, including men and women, that would stop only thinking about themselves and start thinking about the child and how it's damaging the child and the relationship. Because I've been a single parent who has to deal with child support. And with me with child support, by the time them little $400 come, I'll be already done paid my bills. Or I would rather for the child dad to spend more time with them, to spend more time with the child than putting them on child support. But I had to put them on child support because when they went on child support, it wouldn't do right. But as far as it goes, time, and I really do apologize because all women are not like you, and all women are not like your ex-wife, and all men are not good too. Some women keep their kids away from their dad for a good reason, especially if they out there in the streets and doing wrong.
Greg, let me ask you another question. You said this has been going on 15 years?
Yeah.
So your son is 15?
He's 15.
Okay. So do you have a relationship with him now?
Not really. I mean, we talk, but it's the bond is not there because of the tactics that she's used to drive a wedge, between me and him. We haven't been getting into arguments, nothing like that, but he's just don't have that that drive to want to know his dad and want to be bonded to me.
Greg, let me ask you a question. How's his schoolwork? Are you doing anything? How's his schoolwork?
He's down. Lately, his grades have been dropping, and he's just recently told me he wanted me to, get him for Thanksgiving because he's got a bad attitude and his grades are dropping. And
she told you that?
Yeah. So now she wanted me to.
Because at his age now, he has the right to choose which parent he wants to live with.
We can't do that.
Greg, thanks for calling. We got to go on break right now. And thanks for calling on Coach's Line. And we'll talk to you soon. Thank you.
Yes, sir.
At 15.
You find a reliable source of CBD products. Introducing Holistic Wellness Boutique, a revolutionary collection of CBD tinctures, CBD topicals, CBD edibles, CBD pet products, and other relevant CBD products that help you incorporate CBD into your everyday lifestyle. The best part? Through our special Radiant Transformations program, Dr. Alea Daniel, PharmD, a well-regarded wellness coach, licensed pharmacist, and the mind behind the idea of Holistic Wellness Boutique, will also introduce you to a healthier lifestyle through proper education, nutrition, and a thorough medication evaluation to make the most of our exemplary CBD products. If you are struggling with a chronic condition, we can help you discover how to live a more holistic lifestyle through wellness coaching and the proper selection of hemp-derived CBD products. Visit HolisticWellnessBoutique.com to schedule a consultation or order an audacious combination of hemp-derived CBD products that will rejuvenate your mind, body, and spirit.
Welcome to Burke's Jewelry. How may I help you?
We're looking for engagement rings.
We offer a wide selection. However, I believe we have just what you're looking for. Burke's Jeweler is your family's jeweler at 491 Flat Shoals Avenue Southeast, Atlanta, Georgia 30316 in East Atlanta Village.
You're back on Coach's Corner right here. We're going to finish our conversation with Greg online. We're broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube TV 1061 out of Douglasville, Georgia. And we'll thank our producer, Felix Washington, TV 1061. Okay, Greg, you're back on live. Go ahead. You there?
Oh, this isn't Greg.
Okay, go ahead, caller.
All right, so my name is Stefan Taylor. I was actually invited on this by Mr. Norman.
Okay, go ahead.
And I was listening.
How you doing, Stefan?
I'm doing good. So I was sitting here listening to everybody's input, and the biggest thing is it starts with the parents. It's all about who you lay down with. So that has a big impact on the child. Like, if you already know as a father you're not going to be there for your child, why lay down with the woman to do all that? It starts at home. And then it's like kids have a lot of idle time. School is for 8 hours. After school, what are the kids doing? They're in the phone all day. They get outside, but what are they doing outside? They're not watched. They're not supervised. Get them in sports. Take them to church. It's so much that you could do. But nowadays, these new generation of parents, they give them the phone to shut them up. They take them shopping. That's not teaching them. That's not spending time with them.
That's true.
Not. And it's like, grandparents nowadays is like years old.
Do you have any kids of your own, Stefan?
Yes, I have a daughter on the way.
On the way?
Yes. My father wasn't there for me, so he's there, but just like Mr. Gray spoke, it's not how it should have been, right? So it's a lot of generational curses. So I'm married. I'm 25. So I'm married. I have a child on the way. I'm going to be there every step of the way. It's not about the money, because whatever you ask God for, He's going to give it to you. You just got to be patient.
That's true.
So it's just about how you was brought up. And then I forget the woman's name. She's on there with you all, but I don't know her name.
Yolanda.
She was saying, so she was saying, she was speaking on kids. They're taught all this, but they got to keep it.
That's true.
It wasn't an overnight thing where these kids start acting crazy. Nobody was taking the time out to see why they was acting like that. It's all attention. Kids need attention. They watch everything, like you said, Mr. Norman. They watch everything. Kids need attention, one-on-one. What happened to the one-on-one?
True.
People don't have time no more. We wrapped up in our own lives, so it's like my mom and them always used to say, it takes a village, but the village ain't there no more.
You know, Stefan, this is John. I want to say, thank you for calling in, and I think your child would have the best of both worlds, because you've been through this. So now you know what you need to do without having your father. You've been through this now, and now you can show your child and teach your child the right way to do things and do the things you're supposed to do to be successful in life. Spend the time with him, take him to the movies, do his work, everything. I think that's going to be a win-win for your child, man.
Yes, I appreciate that. I can't wait for her to get here.
Congratulations.
Congratulations.
Absolutely. You got the foundation, so your child will be all right. And the children, see, one thing about raising children, you're going to learn your child, because of your child's upbringing and involvement, is going to attract 7 or 8 other kids that you're going to take. Every time you take your child somewhere, you're going to be taking them somewhere.
Right.
So you're going to end up raising other people's children too. That's just the way it goes.
And that's a compliment.
Yes.
Yes. And I can't wait to be that change, be the impact of my generation.
Absolutely.
Okay, thank you for calling in, Stefan. We appreciate your comment.
So much.
Thank you for calling in, Stefan.
Be blessed.
So the guy has a good point about how he's going to raise his child. That's what I'm saying. Kids are from the way he raised them out their homes. It's up to the parents. And like I said, kids don't just come out of the world being bad.
Right.
Nope. They don't just be bad.
Right.
They got to be something, like I said, maybe 80, 90 babies, some of them don't, they, like I said, they raise, babies raising babies. They're not raising these kids, They hanging out in clubs or hanging out. The babies at home, with mothers. And so they're not raising them. When the kid get the same age, he thought it was good because mom was doing it.
And remember, I told you that children emulate what they see in their household.
Absolutely.
So if you're showing good behavior and doing the right thing, that's what children emulate. But if you're doing the wrong thing, that's what children emulate again. So, it is the parents' responsibility now. It's not the school teachers, it's the parents overall 90% to instill great qualities in their children as they growing up, man. That's real talk.
So the question is, what's the solution about stopping the crime with these kids off the street? What can we do as a community? Get the crime for these kids to see some of this crime, increase crime.
For one, stop pointing the finger at everybody and come together. Stop saying the single parent, it's the single parent fault that child acting like that. It's everybody's fault in the community. It's just not the single parent fault. Some kids, like I said, when I worked in the prison system, I've seen them come in at the age of 16, 15, 14 to be caged in a housing unit at a female institution. And it doesn't matter if you got a 2-parent house, a single parent house, a parents that's on drugs, or parents that in a Christian family. When a child get a certain age, a child is going to make their own decision. I don't care what you teach them, whatever. It's up to them, but it's up to you at the same time. Once you see that pattern in that child, jump on them. Don't fuss at them, talk to them. Have a relationship with them. Don't be like, oh, you do what I say do and that's that. You have to, at the same time, they may be kids, but they have an opinion too at the same time. Don't shift them to the side with their opinion always keep your door open. Even if it's something like little kids could be telling you something, don't brush it off. Stop multitasking. Take time out and spend time with your kids.
I think that you're right. I just want to say about the one-parent household, it's difficult, and understand what I'm saying, whether it's a male or a female. When you have somebody working 2 jobs and you have a couple of kids and you're working 2 jobs to put food on the table, it's very hard to discipline them during the time that you're not there. So you said something earlier, then that's when the streets start raising them.
That's correct.
You know, because I was growing up, I'm going to tell your mother, oh, go ahead and tell my mother. I'm going to tell your father, don't tell my father. Because I know what daddy's going to do.
See, it's different with me, with my kids. I had to work. I was a single parent. The streets didn't raise my kids. One of my kids wanted to choose to be a street person.
You were very lucky.
But he wasn't raised like that. And you can have 2 parents in the same household, and your child still can be that because both parents are trying to make this money, make a whole bunch of money for material things in life instead of spending time with their children.
I just want you to know there is, when you have a one-parent household, child can come out great. Don't get me wrong. They can come out great. But what we need to do as a society, you said that
y'all too hard on the single parents. Because they can come out wrong. They can come out wrong too.
I did not just say they can come out good being a single parent. Exactly.
But I think we in the community got to start doing things, having get involved with what's going on with the after school programs.
Right.
Little basketball leagues like you were in the PAL league, baseball leagues, things of that nature. Getting them outside. Kids today don't go outside. They just stick and sit in the house and play the video games all day and all night. And the video games, they actually can play with each other because of the internet. So I think we just need to do more things and have games and block parties. We had block parties when we were growing up.
Hold on, we got a caller.
There's just a lot of things we need to do.
Go ahead, caller. Go ahead, caller. Hello.
Because it's something that I want to read to y'all too, that we had a disagreement off camera about the age when a child can choose which parent they want to stay with. According to Georgia Code, 19-935, children who are 14 or older may choose which parent they want to live with. 14 or older may choose which parent they want to live with primarily. Once the child has made the decision, he will have to sign an affidavit of custody election and submit it to the court. See?
Now, without me knowing anything about what you read, let me tell you what the problem is with that. First of all, I'm gonna stay on the man side for a minute. First of all, we're gonna have to hire a paid attorney, and we're gonna have to bring that action before the court. The first thing they're gonna do to a black man is they're gonna go in his background. And they're gonna use that, her attorney or family court, because a lot of times they don't use a paid attorney. They're gonna go right into the man's background to justify why that child shouldn't live with him. Now, I understand we got people out in the streets selling drugs, doing all kind of stuff. I'm not talking about that guy. I'm talking about the guy who may have something in his background that goes to a regular job every day. So that little thing that you read there, I already know how it works when you get in that courtroom. See, that's the problem. A lot of times you have to really experience to know. You can read, you can study. I tell a lot of people all the time, experience is to know. You can have all the education in the world. I sold real estate for 28 years. And you got people with all these theories. I talked to a lady today about investing and everything. And she told me how it's gonna work. I said, okay, all that you got out of a book. I said, because there's you did everything but put the human factor in. That's why what you're talking about won't work.
And it goes the same way with the female, because you can go and dig into the female background and she can have something against her that the father can take custody with. It goes both ways. It balances itself. It balances. I done seen it go both ways.
She got to be on some heavy drugs and doing a whole lot of stuff for that court to take them babies from her. They not going to take them babies from them kids.
They have done
from
that.
That mama. That mama got to be real screwed up.
Right.
You go both. I mean, you still at the end of the day, you have to. Best thing that I can tell a person is to get your child legitimized.
I give you an example. I give you an example. You are a good parent to your children. What if the father decided to go against you to get the child? Now you just read that the child make the decision. Do you think that would have worked? You would have went to court and fought for your child, and you was gonna bring up his background. But the child want to go live with his daddy. You think the court gonna rule with the child?
Okay, in my situation, with my situation, by the person that he's married to, and then the person that they were with, go ahead.
No. What? No.
Go ahead.
What?
Go ahead.
You said go ahead.
Go
so
ahead.
you willing to let him go?
Willing. I have let one went and stayed, but she came back.
But a lot of parents won't. And let me tell you what the court will use to justify it. Read your definition, Butch, for one of you gave the definition for juvenile or what have you.
Yeah, juvenile. Yeah, I gave the definition.
What was that definition?
It was they're not mentally or physically mature right now to make certain decisions.
And that's what the court will use, not to let that child come to go to that daddy.
But see, the thing is, when you get deep into it, but I just wanted, because y'all didn't know, I just wanted you to know.
Oh, you're right on that. Yeah, you're right on that.
Y'all didn't know, but see, you're getting deep into it. But the only thing I wanted you all to know that they're in the state of Georgia, that a child does have the right to choose which parent they want to live with. That's the only thing that I was stating. Because y'all didn't know.
Take that child. Yeah, hey, it's hard to take that child
We're
from
going
the
to do
mama.
some close, almost kind of close with the comment. One thing we got to let people know, children do not belong in prisons. Incarceration does not support the growth of a child.
True.
It places them at risk with limited access to. Incarceration are not often according to education, adequate education, health care, some of the counseling services. They have greater risk of maltreatment, physical, psychological abuse, as well as sexual abuse and suicide. You know, youth of color and LGBT youth are at the highest risk of being placed in solitary confinement. And youth with disability are often placed in isolated due to lack of other service accommodation. With no child should be placed in solitary confinement regardless of what identity, which is true. No kid should be in solitary confinement in no kind of juvenile, but they're doing that. Risks are heightened for children in adult criminal system, which is more focused on punishment rather than rehabilitation. In closing, as youth crime and arrest rates continue to decline, now's the time to re-implement youth justice. We have better choices than incarceration, division, treatment, after-school programs, and family support program support. Children keep communities safe and save taxpayers dollars. It's time to end the criminalization of children and provide each child time, space for learning, mistakes, restore support for caring adults. What all that is saying to everybody is that we as parents shouldn't try to put our kids in the criminal justice system. That's not where kids belong at, regardless. They need to rehabilitate and have a center for them. They should build a center where the kids can go in at a 90-day period, see what the rehabilitation. Right. There's not enough rehabilitation centers here in the state of Georgia for kids to just go in, get rehabilitation, get them out, and try to get help for these kids. Just give them long time sentence, because there's a reason why kids are committing crimes in our community, in our country. There's a reason why. And all the medication, all the doctrine, it's not. There's something that's happening within our household. Parents are not doing what they're doing as parenting coming up. As the young generation goes on, and we goes on with kids, we all as a community need to come together. Like we said, I had coming up out of Detroit, we had a PAL group. We had Police Athletic League where the kids go. We had church leagues where the church had, the kids, the church leagues had something to do. They have programs, all different. They don't have these for these kids like this today. As you look around, they don't have all these kind of programs we have coming up. Halloween, we had things. Christmas, we had Christmas play. Kids not involved no more in that.
Right.
They're not involved, and parents not getting them involved into that. They're not. There's a lot of kids not into sports. There's a lot of parents don't get their kids into sport. Sports is a place to relax their mind, get them more teamwork. They're not involved in all that.
So I have a question too. What about the ones that are just plain evil and bad? Where do you think they belong at?
Well, listen.
Say, have you worked in a juvenile facility? You know, you can't hit a kid. You got a child you have a male that's 6'5". Mostly women run these facilities. They're 6'5". He's 6'5". He killed all his folks, or he raped somebody, or did something. You don't think he belongs in solitary confinement?
Well,
do you? You don't think so?
Well, I work in the prison system too now. I work in the federal prison system myself.
Okay, you did.
So I know.
But I'm just saying, I'm talking about juvenile. But
okay,
you know, because you can't hit them.
I'm not saying that they should be, but it's saying that we should find a better way to rehabilitate them. But they didn't come out no mama's womb, kill a killer or murder. Somebody had to teach them how to kill. Like
some people are just born evil. True. Some people, you can't just put it on society. You can't just put it on what's going on. Some kids and people are just born evil. People can see their children killing animals, cutting things up, attacking them, and brush it off. Oh, little Tommy will be all right. But actually, little Tommy is a psycho.
But
that's a sign where you get your kids help. When you see these things, you can't ignore it.
Some people don't. They ignore it because guess what people gonna say.
I agree with you. He's 6'5". He done killed his family.
Yeah, you done killed his family. Then you 6'5".
He done killed his family.
You can't touch these kids.
Man,
In the juvenile, I have people that works in the juvenile. You got a young girl. She size you up. She slap you or spit on you. You can't touch her. Or guess where you going at? You going to jail. Guess where she need to be at? Call in that special unit, lock her down. Until she a lot of them when they come out that hole for a long time. Cause you ain't gonna stay in the hole for probably no more than about 30 days.
But let me say this: there's ways to deal with that. I mean, you can have a psychotherapist or therapist.
They done had all that.
What I'm saying, work with them on a regular basis. Now, it's not going to take care of everything, but you don't know, because you said something earlier. You don't know what they're going through, what they've been through. You don't know if they've gotten raped at 12 or 13. You don't know anything, especially when they go in these group homes. You don't know.
I think you have to deal with it on a case-by-case situation.
Exactly.
Because you got to understand, there are other people in there with them that they're violating also.
Yeah.
Exactly.
So you can't just be concerned about this 6'5" murderer, as opposed to you got another 300, 400, 500 people in the unit.
And then you got you got one that's probably the age of, let me tell you how this goes, because I don't work. They can sit there, go through all them programs and be just as manipulative as they want to. That's just like in the state of Georgia. Let's say a person, you can be selling drugs, selling drugs. A person molest a child, rape a child. You go through that SOPP program, 18 months, guess what? They back on the streets.
That's true.
They back on the streets just like that.
We're going to close. We're going to close on that note from Yolanda. You have been here to Coach's Corner. We've been broadcasting live on Facebook and YouTube, TV 1061, Douglasville, Georgia. Our sponsor, we want to thank our sponsors, State Farm, Sherry Denard at 422 155 South McDonough, Georgia. Jaguar International McDonough. And again, don't forget about the basketball tryout November 6th at TOP Church on Highway 42 at 10 to 3. And I want to thank our producer, Mr. Felix Washington, for broadcasting this show at TV 1061. Thank you, and have a good night.
Good night.
And welcome to The Flavor.
And Our top 10 countdown starts with
I was dead broke, I ain't had shit, but I made it all happen like magic. They counted me out, but I still made it out, and I took home the crown like a pageant.
Here comes your dream, number 2 on title, number 1 on iHeart. Got the whole world.
Hello, this is Papa Snoop, and this is the tip of the week.